Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors, episode 135.
Welcome to Life by Design, the podcast for chiropractors. Here's your host, Dr. Jamie Richards.
Welcome to Life by Design for Chiropractors. I'm your host, Dr. Jamie Richards, and I'm not joined today by my colleague, Dr. Cratio Jug, or my colleague, Dr. Mike Gibson. They would love to be here with me today. As you can see the view behind me, and this is where I get to sit on many days while I record our content for the podcast. If you're checking it out on the video, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you find this, you'll see just what I'm talking about. And today I am talking about one of my favorite concepts and tidbits when it comes to setting the stage in your practice for the conversation that you'll have at the day one and the day two. And it's what I call the acceptance mindset. It completely changed the way I approach my practice, and it has for many, many clients that we've worked with. And I want to share for you really the basic framework of this today. And I hope you'll take that and start to implement this as soon as possible. And I know it'll make a massive difference in your practice. Now, what does acceptance mindset mean? Let me give you a bit of a backstory. Like many people listening to this podcast and watching this video, it's likely that you've struggled with people coming into your practice, having what you would assume is a great conversation on day one, even day two, and them not being ready to accept your recommendation or to follow what you would call, or what at least I would hope we would start calling, our requirements for starting care. And then we hum and we haw and we decide, well, they're better off in our practice than outside of our practice, and we might be able to change their mind as they go through the process, and chiropractic's good for everybody. And so we owe it to this person to serve them and to help them. And so we bring them into our practice only to see them leave a visit later, 2, 5, 10 visits later. And when you think about what happens when you do this, it's massively demoralizing. At least it was for me, because you put your heart and your soul into this, and to see them leave so quickly and early, it makes you feel like it's something you said, something you did, or something you didn't say, something you didn't do, that they didn't accept you. And it's crushing. And I did that for years and years and years. And what it did is it led me to try and find the next thing and the next thing and the next way to communicate, and the new tactic and, the new gimmick to get them to say yes and to keep saying yes. When really all along, I just needed to hit the point, like many people do in our practices even, hit a point where there was a crisis. And the crisis for me was a moral crisis, one where it was just no longer acceptable for me to start care with somebody feeling that they were not going to follow through. And I wanted to be able to put my heart and my soul into every practice, in every practice member. And I wanted to be able to know that I had a period of time to start the process, to deliver a clinical procedure, aka the correction or adjustment, and to be able to retest this person and to have a new conversation about, what to do next, or to not continue on. And that became our core product. And I knew that unless somebody was going to start and finish our core product, that I was going to stop accepting their case. And it doesn't mean that I did it in a mean way. And I think that becomes a bit of the hang up. What do you say? How do you kindly, let somebody know that you're not going to start with them? But it all starts with this acceptance mindset. It all starts with you saying, okay, what am I willing to accept? And that's really the action step for today. Without getting into the exact details and the mechanics of it, because it's a much longer conversation that could take us a couple hours to go through all the steps. It's starting with this, question for yourself. And this is what I want you to do, is ask yourself this question. What is my minimum viable product? What do I feel confident in terms of delivering to somebody, knowing that they are going to get an adequate result? And I'm not talking about subjective results, but from an objective standpoint, whether you're measuring EMG or thermography or structural deviation, whatever your assessment process is, what's your minimum viable product? Is it a timeline? Is it 6 weeks or 12 weeks? Is it a number of visits? Whatever it is, and it can be different for different people, decide your minimum viable product. That's what you are going to accept. And if you're struggling with this, the easiest way is to make it 12 visits or make it 6 weeks, whatever it is in 6 weeks. Maybe it's 3 times a week for 6 weeks. That's 18 visits. Or maybe it's 12 visits over whatever frequencies you would like to recommend. That's your minimum viable product, and only accept cases in people who are willing to go through the minimum viable product. And there's a narrative that we'll need to create around this, and conversations and communication that needs to happen. But it all starts with you, and it starts with you deciding, what am I willing to accept? And when you start to change that and you start to frame up the conversation about here's what's required for us to accept your case, almost in an instant, everything changes. And so when you don't accept their case, and this is where I'll leave it, and this is what I want you to think about, when the patient turns down your recommendations, it affects your self-esteem. You take it personally, and it makes you feel bad, and it leads to endless amounts of action steps that are inappropriate and are not leading anywhere that's going to be positive. But when you are the one accepting their case, so if someone says, it's not important enough for me to take the next 12 visits to start this process, well, that's actually you not accepting their case. Well, I'm sorry, Mary, I'm not going to be able to accept your case. Let me walk you up to Ashley. I'll let her know what we're going to do. Our doors are open for you at any point in the future. Your test results are good for the next 90 days. Should you come in during that time, we won't go back through the testing process. And anytime after that, we'll start back from scratch and get new tests to see where we're at. You're accepting their case. You feel great at the end of the day to say, look, we accepted 2 new cases, which is far better than the mindset, we signed up another one. We signed up another one. Oh, that person turned us down. And that becomes an endless cycle over and over and over again that just diminishes your self-esteem. Go the other way. Figure out your minimum viable product. Make that what you're willing to accept. And make a commitment to do that for the next 3 months, for the next 90 days, and then tell us what happens. And I know, and I'm certain, it'll be an absolute game changer for you. In fact, not only change your practice, but it could change your life. I know that because it did for me. Guys, thank you for listening to Life by Design for Chiropractors, the voice of reason in chiropractic.